Alright, hello everybody. Hello Void Dweller Origichan and Apparition. Welcome back to Fata Morgans. Now, last time there was a huge shock as Gratien betrayed Jacopo. I mean, well, I don't think it was that much of a shock, but when it happened was a shock, and how it happened. Like, I think all of us thought at one point, okay, when is Gratien gonna turn against Jacopo? He's gonna reveal himself to be
foolish mortal, I knew all along. Now this is all part of my master plan.
That's like, like reveal himself to be some kind of enemy. But no. He was just like really jealous of Jacopo, who even offered him to be the Lord. But, jeez, like, oh my god, I guess his jealousy just got the better of him. He didn't even give him a chance to explain. God. And then the advisor died, who actually turned out to be good, even though he totally looked like he could be evil, but he was actually really good. And that just broke Jacopo completely. And he basically fully started referring to himself as Lord Barnier, whose ghost even came to haunt him and everything. Oh my god, and things just got worse and worse, and he's trying to make things better. And he also invited a certain nun over to establish some religion in the area in hopes of giving the people something to do. Oh god. My stupid headphones got unplugged. Fuck berries. Okay. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Oh. Now I can't hear anything. You know what? Good thing I didn't do anything yet. Time to restart. Okay, good thing that didn't happen in the middle of a stream. Okay. No more putzing around. Let's get right back into it. Faith for fortune. Oh, what is it?
We picked some flowers for you. Take a look. They were so pretty.
Oh, why thank you. They're beautiful.
Ah! Get it away from me! She actually fell for it.
I know. How many times do I have to tell you it's not nice to trick people?
You are too much fun to tease, Sister Marie.
That's hardly an excuse. It's still wrong. I'm your big sister here, so you need to treat me like...
There's a bug on your chest.
No, wait, where is it? Get it off. Someone get it off me.
Just kidding, there's nothing there.
Get back here, you little rascals!
So her name's Marie. Not quite what I envisioned of the so-called saintess. She seeks out orphans to take her into her care and offers food for the hungry, shelter for the homeless, and rest for the weary. And where exactly did the funds for that come from? She covers it all herself, supposedly. I highly doubt she has that kind of money just sitting around. Look at that building. It's practically falling apart. Wait a second. I get it. She makes use of all the church's resources to fund a charity. That is correct, my lord. Is she really so foolish as to not realize that's unsustainable? The locals are quite fond of her, but the same cannot be said of the priests and other nuns. Her work is causing them great financial stress. I'm not surprised. Shall I summon her? No, don't bother. I've seen more than enough. Yes, my lord.
Okay.
What? You have something to say? No, my lord. I simply find it curious you would take all the time to come all the way out here when you have far more important work to attend to. Not that I would ever imply your judgment is anything other than impeccable, my lord. I just thought that this saintess might be someone I knew.
Damn it, Jacopo.
Pardon? But I was mistaken. They don't call her the saintess because she does God's work. They just call her that because she's a damn goody two-shoes. So much for words having actual meaning. Christ. I see. Lord Bonnier? It's nothing. I'm heading back now. Yes, sir.
You know what? I'm gonna give the kids the Maria voice just because it's easier on my throat.
Marie, the giant man's here.
Come on now, be polite. Oh! Hello, Yukimasa.
Good day, Marie. The kids seem to be doing quite well.
Oh, you have no idea! So well, in fact, that this little hooligan found himself a whole handful of bugs. And goodness, he about scared me out of my skin.
A little mischief is a good thing. Their smiles wouldn't be half as bright at any other orphanage.
I'm not too sure about that.
In any case, here's what I earned this week.
No. I keep telling you that's not necessary.
But you do accept tithes, no?
Yes, but still.
I know it's hardly enough to cover what you need, but please.
No, that's not what I mean. It's your money, so you should use it for yourself.
I have nothing to use it on. You'll put it to much better use than I ever could.
All right. Thank you. But try not to work yourself too hard, okay?
I promise.
Goodness, you really do make a lot in a week. It's almost like you're stealing it off people's dead bodies. But we know that's not true. I didn't realize carpentry paid so well.
Indeed. I'm fortunate enough to have found good work.
Maybe I'll leave the church and take up carpentry myself.
No. It is very dangerous.
Just kidding.
You kid, but you do quite well for yourself. You're strong enough to carry me, at least.
That took every last bit of strength I had. God, I gave him such a weird voice.
Who is that man? Even with all the foreigners we get here, I've never seen anyone who looks like that.
Hello, Mirage. Welcome to the stream.
He is a frequent visitor to this church, though he does not appear to come for the charity. An Oriental, perhaps? Oriental? My former consul told me of them once. Vagrants from the Far East who supposedly look much like that man. How curious. He may be able to fool the nun, but I know damn well no carpenter in the world makes that much in a week. There's something fishy about that guy. Look into that man. Tell me anything you could find out about him. Yes, Lord Bonnier. Now I'm heading back.
In addition to the renovations for the church and gathering intel on the Far Eastern Man, I made sure to keep an eye out for any unusual rumors or happenings outside the city's borders. Of all the reports I received, the one that caught my attention was the word of a witch who lived by a lake. Oh, here's where he finds her. I know what scene I think we're getting this stream. The lakeside witch supposedly had miraculous powers, allowing her to cure any ailment. And the effect was transmitted through her blood. This wasn't the first time I had heard of the witch. An elderly woman who prepared and sold medicinal herbs. Oh yeah, the original one. But I hadn't realized she also traded in miracles. It sounded like a bunch of snake oil to me, but she had allegedly cured a deathly ill young girl and started to make quite a name for herself. But on top of that, they also said the sound of the witch's first cry had ended a years-long drought in the village where she was born.
This doesn't bode well. Why not, my lord? Try using your damn head once in a while, would you? Two competing denominations forming so close together. You don't see how that could lead to all sorts of headaches. The objective is to unify the people under a single banner, to which I then pledge my support and earn their favor. But all that becomes moot if their fate turns toward this witch. The people do love their heroes and miracles after all. It is quite an attractive proposition, I must say. I'm mocking them, you buffoon! You palooka! You schlemiel! I beg your pardon. The chances of it growing into something actually worth worrying about is slim. But better to snuff out the flame before it spreads it than sit back and hope it burns itself out. Should I deliver an order for her to cease operation, then? That would be best. Actually, no. I'll deal with this personally. And by personally, I mean send a psychotic assassin out to get her. You just keep your mouth shut and do exactly as you ordered. Nothing more, nothing less. Understood? Yes, Lord. To start, summon the man from the church. This is clearly going to go down as one of my best decisions ever.
A few days later, I was standing face to face with the man in my audience room. He seemed much less personable in person. Oh, that sounds funny. Than when I had seen him with the nun. Stone-faced, cold, and faintly smelled of blood. Not that I could actually smell blood, but there was an animalistic air emanating from him. His malicious intent. That much I had expected, though. I knew before summoning him that he was anything but a respectable man.
I take it you're the Oriental man who've been seen buzzing around a local church as of late?
That would be me, yes. What of it?
Who do you think you're talking to, you impudent rat? Show some damn respect!
Apologies. I'm not very familiar with the local customs or language. For instance, I don't know. Is it impolite or polite to kill people? I'm still working on that one.
Huh, very well then. You're fortunate I'm such an understanding man. Now, for the reason I called you here. You're the one who killed that car full of slaves 4 years ago, aren't you?
So you know about that.
I wasn't actually sure it was you, but now I have confirmation.
Oh, damn it. There I go again, running my big mouth.
Since then, one slave of Far Eastern origin has remained unaccounted for. I take it that would be you.
That's right.
You made one hell of a mess out there.
Am I here to be punished? Because I assure you I don't think that will end well for either of us.
That depends on how our talk goes.
If you think I'm going back to being a slave, you're fooling yourself.
I don't need any more damn slaves, and I certainly don't want you as one. You're obviously not finding any respectable work being an ex-slave, so I take it you're still in the business of getting your hands dirty. Are you not? I assume you're playing cat boiler or something, living off whatever you can swipe from the nearest unlucky bastard.
Correct. Among other things.
Isn't it comical then, that you would choose God's sacred house to stretch your legs in, you filthy dog?
I absolutely agree.
I thought that would get a reaction out of you, but it seems like you got no bite in it today. Boy, I must be the only lord who ever had someone who had trouble understanding emotions as a freaking right-hand person. Never mind, let's get down to business. You're gonna help me out with a little something I'm working on.
Help you with what exactly?
I think this is during the Dark Ages or something like the 1000s Void Dweller.
Something that's gonna make me a lot of money. And if you lend a hand, I'll make sure you're well taken care of. Along with the choice you're so fond of, and the nun you've taken a liking to. That nun of yours has made quite the name for herself. Held in the city proper, people have started calling her the Saintess.
They're right about that. She is.
The commoners love their heroes and saints. They eat that rubbish right up. But saint or not, you can't simply create food from nothing. Her work is causing financial troubles for the church, is it not?
It is, yes.
If you help me with this, I'm offering you an entirely new church, one where she has complete control to do as she wishes. She'll make it into the biggest church in the city. She'll be able to help even more people, which should surely please her.
What would you have me do?
Jumping at the first whiff of scraps. You really are a dog, aren't you?
I don't like conversations that overstay their welcome.
Fair enough. Then let's get down to business. Not far from here lives a witch whose blood has the power to cause miracles.
Miracle blood. Sounds like a sham to me.
You never know. They say the sound of her first cry brought rain to the land where she was born, saving the whole village from drought. And they say her blood has the power to cure any disease. I'll worry about the veracity of the rumors later. Right now, all I want is for you to capture her and bring her to me.
Explain something to me, Lord. You said that if I helped you, the nun would be able to save more people than she does now. So how does capturing this witch accomplish that?
I'm glad you know how to listen, dog. We'll be turning this blood into a miracle elixir, which she will then distribute to patrons of the church. In exchange for tithes, of course. Capiche?
Selling it, then.
No, they're offered for free, in exchange for tithes to the church. Wink, wink.
You are well versed in this.
I know. Selling isn't quite the right word, but if that's how you want to think of it, by all means, whatever. I mean, hell, you're deep in the shit too. The commoner's beloved sanctus, handing down an all-powerful miracle medicine. They'll lap it up.
And in turn, you'll make a fortune.
Exactly. Money I can use to support her church. That'll be a boon to the city's economy as well. A single witch's freedom is at all cost for everyone here to come out happy.
Oh boy.
So what'll it be? Will you help or will I have to,
I'll help. I have no reason not to.
Decisive and a good listener. Excellent.
Once I've captured the witch, where do I take her?
I have a mansion set aside where your nun can run a church. There's an observation tower on the grounds.
Jacopo, you're not thinking.
The word shall be kept locked up there to ensure we have a constant supply of blood. Oh yeah, I am totally better than the old Lord Bonnier. Totally better poison.
Okay. When do you want me to get her?
You're just chomping at the bit now, aren't you? I thought you'd hesitate at least a little, but I guess it was foolish of me to presume to understand how a killer's mind works. All the resources I put into investigating you and everyone close to you were wasted, it would seem. You wear your heart on the sleeve, if you had one. Do you even have a conscience?
Yeah, I was just. Dan, he said the thing.
Don't act like you're any different.
I assure you, I have a conscience. It's just really, really small. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't necessary for the growth of the city.
No, I mean you're as much of a murderer as me. You would never come up with a scheme like this if your hands were clean.
The man's right. You're nothing but a murderer. How deep has the blood seeped into your hands? How many have you killed, claiming their lives? Necessary sacrifices.
Here's Lord Barnier to kill my throat.
And how many more will die for your ambition? Silence, spirit! That poor, poor witch. Blessed with the power to perform miracles, only her to win her the attention of the villainous lord. It must be done. I don't have to explain myself to you. It's not like the old hag is long to live anyway. What the hell is villainous about having to spend a final days for the greater good of the city? Torturing an old lady? Oh, give me 10.
Oh my god! I gotta read Chi-chan's comment.
Collider, your throat is a necessary sacrifice! Oh,
yes it is. Yes it is, Barnier. Yes it is.
so many lives will be improved at the cost of only one. You keep telling yourself that, boy. But what you're doing is no different than my banquets. You're cut from the same cloth as the man standing before you. Maybe I really am your father. And the same cloth as me. Begone, phantom! Watch your mouth, dog! Don't you dare insinuate I would ever condescend to your level!
Someone is in a state of denial.
Damn it! That's the first time he's shown up with someone else around. At least you behaved yourself today. I'm pretty sure you're smarter than most people I deal with. And you won't betray me either.
What is that sound? Hello, XT, and welcome to the stream. I don't think I said that earlier. Sorry.
Who knows how much longer he'll live, though. Stay. Don't touch it until I say so. Oh, quit pouting at me like that. You're the Lord's dog. Stand tall and proud. Alright, here you are.
Is that I hope that's a real dog. Okay.
Drink up.
Okay.
Looks like it's safe. I swear. So much work just to get myself a damn drink of water.
Hello, T. Welcome to the stream.
When I heard about the Sanctus, I thought it might be you. But it was someone else.
Oh my god, that's right, XTN. Like the dog Jacopo and Maria took care of in the 1800s.
I never did get around to resuming the search after Odilon passed. There's no one around I can trust with such a sensitive task. Though it's probably for the best if I never do find you. We can't go back to the way we were before.
I think it would be for the best if he never found her. God damn it.
Not that there's much chance you're still even alive, am I right? And I'm the direct cause of all your misery until the end of your days? What are the odds of that? If by some strange chance you are still alive, what would you think of the man I've become?
Several days later than originally planned, The Far Eastern man finally arrived at the mansion. Here we go. Here we go. That's true. It's because Morgana would not open the door for him. For quite a while, he had to trick Mel into doing it. I had arranged to meet with him on the uppermost level of the observation tower on the church grounds. Here we go. Hey! Everybody recognized this staircase. Oh boy.
About time.
The man appeared before me, a burlap sack slung over his shoulder. I had ordered he use the sack, afraid he might be foolish enough to actually drag the old woman all the way here.
There's your witch.
He threw the bag to the ground, causing the woman inside to let out a muffled grunt. It didn't sound like an elderly woman's voice, though.
This stench. Tell me you didn't harm her, dog.
Well, she's alive and define the word harm.
I smell blood.
You only instructed me not to kill her. I told you I am unfamiliar with your customs.
Oh my god, just the way he says this, I'm sorry for laughing.
Mistakes were made, limbs were lost. Yada yada, ipso fatso.
Damn it.
I cleaned up all the blood I got on me. No one suspected anything, so relax, it's fine.
He's even farther gone than I imagined. I should have been clearer in my instructions. Maybe thought about this for more than 2 seconds. No, I suppose it doesn't matter much. She's not gonna live long either way.
Oh, Jacopo, famous last words. Oh god. Jeez.
That you were able to immediately recognize it as the smell of blood says quite a bit, Lord. You have killed before, haven't you?
Enough yapping. She is alive, yes?
Of course.
Fighting back a sigh, I tossed my gaze from the man to the bag. Here we go. They're drawing it out. I felt slightly sorry for the woman, but the feeling didn't last long. I had seen too many bloodied, mangled bodies, both dead and alive, to be fazed by one more. You just keep telling yourself that, Jacopo. He crouched down to untie the bag. Oh, God. And a young girl came tumbling free.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. It can't be.
As soon as I saw her, I knew exactly who that girl was. It had been 4 years, but no length of time could wipe from my memory those patches on her face, or those breathtaking golden eyes. But why? How? What was she doing inside the bag?
get her captured. How? How could I have done that? Morgana.
She was pale as death, shaking visibly. Confusion seized me, a cloud of swirling darkness forming before my eyes. The first thought that came to mind was that he had gotten the wrong person. I had only ordered her capture because I thought the witch by the lake an old woman. If I had known she was a young girl, let alone her, I would have never given the command. But those thoughts led nowhere. I was simply trying to avoid facing reality, trying to place the blame on anyone but myself. I couldn't take back what had already been done. I couldn't change it. Hello, Sean Buster. Welcome to the stream. There she was, the girl who had once won my affection, lying in a ball on the cold stone with an arm missing. Didn't matter how we had gotten here, or what I had felt about her. What are these flashes? I can't tell what's going on. It's too fast. There was no fixing what I had done. No, there is not. She looked up at me, at the source of the muttering above her. Her eyes were opened almost frighteningly wide, and they wandered aimlessly, unfocused to the point I wasn't sure she was seeing anything at all. I felt a tinge of madness in her. Is that you? The words spilled from her lips, so soft they barely reached my ears. Hardly a trace of the beautiful singing voice from my memory remained. It was hoarse and raspy, every sound seemingly laced with an unfathomably deep, pitch-black hatred for all existence.
You remember me?
Would she even be able to recognize me anymore?
How could I ever forget?
Morgana, she remembered me? The days we spent together. What kind of person I'd been. Goddamn. The boy who had refused to give up, putting ointment on her face. All our friends. Those horribly unromantic encounters at the graveyard. Her taking shots at me taking shots at her. Did she really remember? All the time we had shared?
How could I ever forget?
Here we go.
All the pain and humiliation you put me through. What? How could I ever forget the blood Sabbats you so love to hold? What?
What was she talking about?
Haven't had enough, have you? Leaving scars on every inch of my body wasn't enough for you. You haven't had your fill of my blood.
Hello, Lambda Delta. Welcome to the stream. I couldn't even begin to process the words I was hearing. They were little more than angry, meaningless shouts crashing into me. What the hell was she saying? Did she think I was someone else? Did she think I was him? That I was Barnier? No, Morgana.
That wasn't me. I wasn't the man who would cause you so much agony.
I don't know why they're still doing question marks. It's pretty obvious at this point. And they're giving him the Kara red text.
Look at the girl. You would claim you haven't caused her pain. You're the man who bound me, cut me up, called me a witch, and then tried to kill me! I haven't forgotten you, even for a moment!
No, I was the man who had rescued you from him. I wanted to shout, but I couldn't gather the strength to force up a single word. Only gasps of air came from my lips. It was like I'd been robbed of my voice.
I don't care how much my father preaches forgiveness! That's the one thing you'll never get from me! I despise you with all my soul! I revile you with every fiber of my being! For every scar you gave me, I give you a lifetime of hatred! No! Morgana!
When I finally managed to produce a sound, it was barely more audible than a whisper. In a frenzy, I made to reach out for her, when I noticed a pair of narrow eyes glaring at me.
I was not aware you knew the witch, Lord.
No, I don't just know her. She's Morgana. She's the girl I... This man, the Lord, he destroyed me, mind and body. No. She's not wrong. There was another man. You have become that man to her. I'm not Barnier! Do you hear yourself, boy? You're the rightful heir to the Barnier name, are you not? That's what you said when you stole the throne from me. This man ruined my life! How will you respond, boy? Will you say it wasn't you? Can you say it wasn't you? How will you convince her? She's clearly not in her right mind. Would she even understand it if you revealed the truth? Sorry, Morgana. I accidentally sent a madman to cut off your arm and bring you here in a sack because I love you. Can you do that, knowing it won't make it through to her? Will you tell her you're nothing more than a slum rat, an usurper, that you deceived your way into power? That everything you built up over these years was all a lie? That you killed your former friends for nothing? That Odilon died for nothing? That you endured betrayal after betrayal for nothing? Do you have the spine to say it, boy? All the sacrifices you made, all the pain you suffered to make it here, could all come crumbling down the moment you do. What will it be, false lord? Is the girl worth it? He's sharing the truth with this half-dead girl on the brink of madness. worth losing everything you worked so hard to accomplish. Make your choice.
What's the matter, Lord?
Yes, I know. I knew her years ago.
I see. What do you want to do then, Lord? You look sick.
What do I want to do? Obviously,
Why? On Earth.
This doesn't change anything. We lock the witch up and proceed as planned.
And that is Jacopo crossing the final moral event horizon. What a story. Did I make this choice?
Congratulations, boy! That concludes your inheritance of the name Lord Barnier!
4 years earlier. Okay, now we're gonna see what happened to Morgana. It wasn't until I lost everything that I truly understood just how blessed I had been, how much my time with them had allayed my wounded spirit, and how hard they had worked to mold me into an ordinary girl. But that was all gone now. I may have not have said as much, but I liked it there. I was quite fond of the tranquility. I didn't want to lose it. I wanted to be happy as much as anyone else. I'd long lost track of how far I had walked. My legs were still stiff, and my knees didn't want to bend anymore. Oh God, apparition. It took all my effort to remain upright. And I was certain I would never get back up if I did fall down. I still couldn't wrap my mind around what had happened. It was all so sudden, also horribly senseless. It was so mind-bogglingly horrendous. Part of me refused to believe it was anything more than a bad dream, and that was what kept me walking. Because if I did accept it as a reality, I would lose what remained of my will to live. It was supposed to be a party. The girls got together to celebrate my birthday, making food and treats that, while hardly extravagant, was still a significant improvement over what we usually had. Everyone was laughing. Part of me was irritated by the whole affair, as I had never been comfortable in such lively environments. That's a mood. They were celebrating me, my birthday. I should have been overjoyed. Maybe this was my punishment for being so unappreciative. As soon as I stepped out, bandits raided the brothel. I stayed there but a few minutes longer
things likely would have turned out quite differently. Whether for better or worse, I couldn't begin to guess, but at the very least, I probably wouldn't be here alone. I could have gone with them to the next life. During the raid, a man grabbed me, and I lost consciousness almost immediately after. When I awoke, I was in a foul-smelling carriage. People were packed into the carriage like livestock. There were dozens of them, every inch of usable space filled with a body. Looking out across the cramped space, I knew instinctively I was on my way to becoming a slave. Once I had been sold off as a saint, a highly valuable commodity. But this time around, I was cheap, expendable labor. I was filled with an overwhelming emptiness as the realization struck. Something resembling sorrow wavered about in the void as well. But it wasn't just sadness for my own predicament. It broke my heart knowing I would never see them again. That everyone I had to thank for all those warm, peaceful days had either been killed or sold off. In time, the sadness felt to form tears in my eyes. My whole life I had managed to endure without crying, and the first time I did, I shed tears for someone else. The man sitting next to me asked, "Why are you crying?" To which I answered, "I'm sad because I didn't get the chance to show my gratitude to people very dear to me." But if that had been the end of our conversation, I wouldn't be here, hobbling down this endless road alone. I wouldn't be covered in so much blood. Sometime after I had responded, the man suddenly stood up and murdered the guards and slave traders. At first, the other slaves thought they were saved, and for a moment I believed so too.
He must have done this barehandedly, because I don't think they would give a slave a sword.
He was a very curious-looking man. His eyes smaller and narrower than ours. His nose a different shape. I'd never seen anyone who looked like him before. All I knew was that he wasn't from around here. The man, wielding a sword stolen from a guard, searched through the slave trader's clothes for the keys to our shackles, which he gave to me and made me free his hands, before proceeding to kill the slaves. I stood aghast as the massacre unfolded before me. Blood pooled at my feet. Severed limbs were strewn about the carriage. Bodies piled up haphazardly, many having only enough time for their eyes to go wide in shock before being cut down. Men, women, children, everyone equals at the end of his blade. The strange-looking man laughed as he slaughtered the slaves. He laughed and he laughed, like he was having the time of his life. And when he was done, he stepped out of the carriage and wandered off, leaving me alone, the sole survivor. I'd witnessed so much death in so short a time. Cruel, meaningless violence. Its victims powerless to resist. And here I stood among the bodies, left alive. For some inexplicable reason, left alive. The screams, the despair, the pleas, the death, the laughter, all reverberating inside my head.
Hello, Mystery Theater. Welcome to the stream. They did take his sword. He said he stole one from a guard.
Oh, Father, who art in heaven, please give me your mercy. I cannot take it anymore. I pray, free me from this pain. My spirit was almost at its breaking point. I was certain that I too would sink into the bottomless abyss. If I kept all these emotions inside me much longer.
Here's the lake.
I walked and walked and walked and walked. No food, no water. My exhaustion at its peak. My mind in a complete haze. When off in the distance, I caught sight of a lake. So thirsty. Water. I began hobbling in the general direction of the lake, not caring that it took me off the main road. Bandits could have assailed me. Wild animals made me their prey. None of that mattered to me anymore. At least then I wouldn't have to walk anymore. But for better or for worse, I made it to the lake unmolested. The water was clear as crystal, and seemed to sparkle like one as well. As soon as it was within reach, I dropped on my knees and drank, my thirst seemingly insatiable. The blood covering me had dried several days earlier, but its bitter stench lingered. So after a brief glance about my surroundings, I washed myself. The chill of the midwinter lake water and occasional gust of wind pierced me to my very bones. No one in their right mind would bathe in this weather. But common sense and the chattering of my teeth didn't stop me. I wanted only to be clean again, and the frigid water felt like it would strip everything away, leaving my body and spirit new and unsullied. Once I was satisfied, I came to the belated realization that a small cottage sat on the lakeside. There's smoke coming from the chimney. Maybe there's someone inside. It could be someone bad, though. May it be safer to stay away. But who knows when I might find someone else.
Excuse me, is anyone there? Hello? The door is unlocked. And skeleton time. I remember this background. It was so warm inside. The heat from the fire seeped into my chilled flesh, spreading slowly. I almost burst into tears again. Sitting before the fireplace was an old woman. A cauldron hung above the flames, bubbling with a curious colored liquid. Ma'am? The woman merely sat there, her head drooped. I think we have Sean Buster. Are they I think it feels like they're repeating a section from the original. Slowly I approached her, half certain of what I would find, and placed my hand on her shoulder. She was dead, and I hardly so much as batted an eye at the sight of yet another corpse. In fact, she looked like she had passed quite peacefully, by comparison. How blessed she was. There was no sign bandits had been rooting through the cottage. Presumably she had fallen asleep and passed away naturally, while in the middle of concocting something. Looking around the room, I found myself surrounded by countless items I couldn't begin to identify. Plants of all colors, hanging from the ceiling to dry. Berries crushed and stored in small glass bottles. Were I to guess, the old woman made her living off herbal medicines. Having gotten a good look around the room, I thought that perhaps I've been guided here. And if my father had led me to this place, he would not frown upon me for doing what was necessary to make use of it. So I dragged the old woman's corpse from the cottage and pushed it into the lake. If I didn't take up residence in the cottage, someone else eventually would. Or it would just be left to deteriorate. Interesting, she didn't even bury her. I guess she's just so disillusioned. That is super interesting that she didn't even bury her. And I would rather take the opportunity bestowed on me to have a place to rest my weary soul. As the woman's body sank into the clear lake, a realization struck me. I hadn't crossed myself. What does that mean? I think I missed an expression here. A few days after I moved into the cottage, a man came to the door. Apparently he had been a customer of the woman's, a witch by trade, and he was looking for more medicine. When I spoke to him through the door, he gave a short gasp and said, "Who are you? Where's the witch?" I am her granddaughter. She is not presently home. Never knew that the old lady had kids.
So when's you gonna be back? Not for some time. Well, damn. You know much about herbs, girl? What? As long as I get my medicine, I don't really care who supplies it. You, her, don't matter. I'll still pay. One moment, please. My knowledge of herbology was essentially non-existent. But if there was a possibility I could make a living off of it, there was no reason for me not to try.
That's true, Sean Buster.
I asked the man to give me as much information about herbs as he had been receiving. Color, texture, smell, anything. And rummaged about until I found something that fit the description. The entire exchange occurred through the barely cracked door. The man paid me as promised. But I quickly realized that money wasn't of much use to me, as I had no intention of returning to the city. So I told him that in the future, I would trade for supplies, which he happily agreed to. A few days later, another man called upon the cottage. But unlike the first man, he sounded crude and uncivilized. I didn't want to cut off a potential source of supplies, though, so I handed him the medicine he requested. But when I did, he let out a low snicker and said, "What I say? What is that? Look after you, girlie." He then shoved his hand through the crack in the door and grabbed my wrist. You ain't fooling me. Hag's dead and it's just you, ain't it? Little girl like you needs someone to look after her. Make sure no bad men threaten you. Every word that came from his mouth oozed with sleaze. I knew what would happen if he got the door open. Let go! Whoa! I yanked my arm back with all my strength, slamming the door shut and set the bar. But even that wasn't enough to quell my uneasiness, so I put a chair against it as well. The man pounded on the door, each slam of his fist causing the whole room to vibrate. Overreact much, huh, girlie? Come on, open up. Still ain't paid you yet. Brought something real nice, too. Open up, I want you to have it. I don't need your payment. I am never doing business with you again, so please get off my property. Want to say that again? You got a lot of nerve, eh, you little bitch? Open the damn door. You don't want to know what'll happen if you don't. Got more for sale than just bags of leaves, don't you? Open the fucking door! Just stay quiet, Morgana. The best way to handle people like him is just not to respond. Good for nothing, you! One day you'll learn your lesson. This world will lead a little girl like you right up. After giving the door one final parting kick, the man stormed off, loudly grumbling about how stupid and ungrateful I was all the while. I didn't deserve a word of his cursing. But at the same time, I couldn't bring myself to be upset about it. He was right. The world would not be kind to a young girl living on her own. Not so long as men like him roam free. I paced before the fireplace, my mind racing. I can't be sure if I'm safe anywhere, not even here. But going back to the city isn't an option. Not while the Lord lives to keep throwing his blood sabbats. Everyone who might have protected me is gone. I have to make it on my own now. I'll have to be very careful about opening the door. I could be attacked again, or worse. I mean, most men would probably run as soon as they saw my face. But most doesn't mean all. There are some out there who will go after anyone. I can't let my guard down while I'm doing business. Not even for a second. Man or woman, everyone is a potential threat. I'll make it on my own. I don't need anyone else. Me, and only me. Being out here has really shown me just how sheltered I was at the brothel. How kind everyone was. How peaceful my life was. I just want to go back. No. Stop it, Morgana. You're stronger than that. I got enough wood on the fire for it to last the whole night, then curled up into a ball and slept beside it. For the first time in my life, solitude frightened me. I don't know who this is. Morgana? What, were you planning to sleep all day? What, were y'all planning to sleep all day? Come on, you're not Jaren. Huh? Oh, it's Jacopo. She's having a dream. About time. Good morning. What little of her remains, anyway. What's with that look? Still waking up. What are you doing here? Excuse me? Why would I not be here? That doesn't answer my question. How did you even... A little boy told me where to find you. So you survived?
Do I look dead to you?
No, but still I thought you were killed during the raid.
I may not be as good with a sword as someone, but you know I'm still no pushover.
Oh God. This is gonna hurt when she wakes up. Oh God.
I wasn't gonna let a bunch of bandits get the best of me.
Oh God.
What, were you worried? Seriously? I never all I thought you knew how to deal with damn me that fires of hell.
Was I worried? Of course I was, you oblivious dolt! I never actually meant it when I said you should be cast into hell. Of course I want to see you alive! Oh my god. Of course. It would hurt me to lose you.
I'm sorry. That was careless of me.
I was afraid. I would never see you again. I thought I had lost everything. Everyone. I was scared to death.
Oh my god.
Whoa. No need to cry. You're tougher than that.
I am not crying.
If you say so.
And what do you mean? I'm tougher than that. What do you think I am? Made of stone? First you try to pretend I'm a normal girl, and you act like I'm some kind of heartless creature. Make up your mind already!
I'm sorry, really. You're perfectly ordinary girl, Morgana.
Can you say that looking at my face?
I'm looking at it right now.
Even though I'm a mean-spirited, bitter little girl?
Even though you're a mean-spirited, bitter little girl.
Oh my god. That's okay, Apparition. I'll try to finish it this stream.
Though it's nice you acknowledge it.
Oh, burn in hell.
Oh god.
Say, I want to ask you something. I want you not to call me weak for it this time.
Let's hear it.
Will you stay with me? I don't want to be alone anymore. It terrifies me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll stay right here forever.
You know, you won't be able to accomplish your dreams out here, right? And you're fine with that?
You bet. You told me to stay, and stay I will. We live right on a lake, and there's some mountains nearby. All things considered, it's not a bad location. We can plant some crops, go fishing in the lake, sprawl out on the grass under the starry sky. Sounds like a pretty good life to me. And maybe sometimes you could sing a little song. I'll sit there listening quietly. Or if you want some accompaniment, I could produce some instruments. That sounded nice to you as it does to me. Nothing. Seriously? What else could you want? How about...
No. That's more than enough. Yes, if I could have a life like that, it would have made every misfortune in my life worth suffering.
God damn it. I only wish the real Jacopo was as honorable as the one in her dreams. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Honestly, do you think that the real Jacopo would have been able to live up to her expectations? Especially since it seems like she sees him as more of a familial figure. I don't know. Jeez, it's so tragic. Seriously. Jesus Christ.
he's not here. It was a dream. What else could it have been? He's dead, just like everyone else. They all died in the raid. And even if he was alive, he wouldn't come looking for me. What a childish dream. Fight it, Morgana. You cannot cry over a simple dream. You are the daughter of God. Oh, God damn it. Your tears ought only to be shed for others, not yourself. I pounded my fist against the floor again and again and again, sobbing like a petulant child. I had never cried like this before. Not as I witnessed men, women, and children being slaughtered. Not when I was taken from my home. Not when I was trained up and tortured by the Lord. It wasn't until I realized just how much I needed that warmth, and that I would never have it again, that my spirit hit rock bottom. Finding and then losing happiness hurt worse than anything else. I wish I had never known happiness. I wish no one had ever shown me kindness. Not if it meant I had to go through this. I wish I had never known what it was like to be normal. I could have just stayed the daughter of God my whole life. Though I wouldn't be. Then I wouldn't be feeling like this. I never knew crying like that. It was so exhausting. And I never want to experience it again. I want to go back to who I used to be, a saint. If I didn't know happiness, I wouldn't have to feel like this. I just have to forget it all. That part of my life, it never happened. No peace, no rest, only trials from my father. That is all I have ever known. It's not hard. Just don't think about those years. I think I would have to cry like this ever again. It's for the best. It's my only choice. See? I was always right. I never was and never will be normal. The only ones who will offer me salvation are God or one of his angels. God. And so I did precisely that. I led a solitary life. I did all my business hidden behind the cottage door. And I sent away anyone who wasn't here for medicine. Once, a mounted man in armor rode up to the cottage. He looked like a knight, but I had no interest in getting involved with anyone who went around carrying weapons. I'm so sorry, Void Dweller. I was responsible for my own safety, so I had to be careful about who I opened my door to. I had to be extra careful about whom I dealt with. But I didn't feel sad or lonely about it. By making that my normal, there was nothing to lament. Which meant old memories served no purpose but to cause me pain. So I endeavored to push them far, far away into the depths of my mind. I couldn't simply discard my memories of what the Lord had done to me, of course, or of all the wonderful people I had met at the brothel. But as time dragged on, they faded into almost nothing.
Oh my god, that's so tragic.
I couldn't describe what any one person's voice sounded like, how they acted around me, what kind of person they were. The things we did together, what they looked like, what their name was, anything of importance. I knew good and well it was callous to forget almost about all the people who had shown me so much kindness and warmth. But I would never see them again, and thinking about them only brought me pain, so there was no point in remembering. It was all I could do to make it go by. It was all I could do to make it by. Nearly 4 years had passed since I'd assumed the role of the lakeside witch. Here we go. My 16th birthday was approaching, but my age was perhaps the only thing I had in common with an ordinary teenage girl. Although if I had grown up like any other girl, having spent my childhood as a saint before being held captive by the Lord, and made to witness countless people's deaths, that would probably mean there was something deeply wrong with me. By that point, a terrible cynicism had taken root in my heart.
By that point,
I built high walls around myself, keeping my contact with the outside world as terse and pragmatic as possible. With each passing day, my voice grew more monotonous, my interactions following a well-rehearsed script. My customers didn't make any attempt to force their way into my shell, either. I'd begun to suspect they might think me not a witch by trade, but that I actually formed a pact with the devil and worked his dark magic. No one said as much, but I could sense what seemed to be fear in their voices when they came to me. On the other hand, I never had anyone else try to force themselves into the cottage, like the man 4 years earlier, so I would say I had a rather peaceful life. If you consider a life in which no one wanted anything to do with you peaceful, that is. I had also come to learn a fair bit about herbology. I could now make my own medicines. Rather than just making do with what was already here when I moved in.
Okay, Tron Buster, have fun.
Although a fair bit still amounted to almost nothing when compared to what my predecessor was capable of. Nonetheless, I had a relatively solid grasp on what herbs to use to treat different symptoms. Enough to formally assume the name of the lakeside witch, at least. And so, time flowed on, uneventful and quiet. Until one day when a young man showed up at my door.
Excuse me, is anyone home?
I knew right away that he was a new customer. No one who had traded with me before bothered with such pleasantries anymore. They wanted the process to be quick and frictionless. And I preferred it that way as well. Who's there?
Here we go.
When I responded from beyond the door, he seemed to be taken aback. After several moments with no answer, I tensed up slightly and repeated the question.
My sister has fallen very ill, and she desperately needs medicine.
He has a very pretty voice.
I was told that the person who lives here is a skilled herbalist. Could I please get something to treat her?
What are her symptoms?
She's got a very high, extremely high fever that won't come down. She has no appetite. She's only drinking water, and she can't get out of bed.
Everyone always seems to be looking for medicine for themselves. I haven't had a customer like him in some time now. We're going to want to lower her fever first. After that, get her on a nutritious diet. I'm going to give you 2 medications. Give her the first while her fever's high, and the second after it's come down.
Thank you very much.
When was the last time someone thanked me? Here's your medicine. It's powdered, so mix it with some water, and have your sister drink it.
Are you not going to open the door any wider?
Is that necessary?
No. Sorry. Just a second. Let me get you your money.
I take supplies for my services, not money.
Oh, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry. This is all I have on me today. Would you maybe be willing to accept this as a payment today?
Very well. Is that a gold coin? Those herbs are worth nearly this much. Just who is this man? And what on earth is he doing here as a witch's cottage? In any other situation, I wouldn't have been able to even been tempted to look.
Sorry about that one.
What if he saw me? He would think me disgusting, ridicule me like everyone else.
It didn't hurt knowing what people thought of me, but it was hardly pleasant hearing it vocalized either. And what if he decided to do something in that moment I dropped my guard? He could force the door open, have his way with me. He doesn't seem like that kind of man, though. Trust was about the farthest thing from my mind when interacting with people these days. I always remained on high alert, keeping a safe distance from everyone, no matter how good they appeared on the surface. But for some reason, I felt strangely comfortable in this young man's presence. At the time, I couldn't have explained why. But in retrospect, I imagine it was largely a result of his upbringing. He spoke in a clear, well-enunciated voice. He had a polite, friendly air about him, which I could feel even through the door. It wasn't the sort of well-mannered you could fake with a bit of practice, nor the sort you encountered out in the middle of nowhere. Curiosity took hold of me. I had to know what he looked like. I wasn't going to throw the door open, of course, and I had no intention of inviting him in either. I just wanted to get a little peek at him through the crack in the door. So I opened it ever so slightly wider than usual when I reached out to take his payment. Oh no, he saw me. Wow, I didn't think that you would be so young. I guess we were a little older. Well, thank you for doing business with me, and I'm sorry for not coming properly prepared. If I need any more, I'll be sure to bring supplies next time. All right. Again, I really appreciate it. Have a nice day. You too. He saw my face, and he wasn't disgusted. He actually smiled. I was so caught off guard, I thought for a second the name on my face had healed. So I ran over to the water basin and a glimmer of hope in my heart gazed in at my reflection. But the face looking back at me was the same as always, a grotesque and slightly patchy mess. Part of me was disappointed, but more than anything, I was flabbergasted by what had just happened. How could he smile at the sight of this face? Ain't that a mood?
For a split second, my mind slipped back in time 4 years. The man who had applied ointment to my face, he never seemed disturbed by my appearance either. Not long afterward, the young man called upon my cottage again. He said the medicine had briefly relieved his sister's symptoms, but it failed to actually cure what ailed her. Herbal medicine required patience and persistence before its efforts manifested. I informed him, to which he responded with a sad smile. He was a handsome young man, not far from what I imagined from his voice, and the smile suited him quite well. There was a distinct elegance emanating from him. Ragged clothing aside, it was about how I envisioned a fairy tale prince might look. Prince? How ironic. Though I knew quite well those only existed in fiction. Real nobles were terrible, miserable, reprehensible people. After a few visits, we started having little conversations outside of our business transactions. He told me his name, Mel, as well as his sister's, Nellie, and I told him mine. Mel was 17, only a year older than me. Then one day, he invited me outside for a walk. It's not healthy to stay held up inside all the time. You bought this beautiful lake right here. What do you say we take a little walk around the shoreline? I was going to turn him down. But my mouth seemed to disagree with my mind, and the next thing I knew, I was taking a walk with someone for the first time in years. Although with might be something of a stretch, I kept a safe distance from him as we walked. I think I remember this. Mel seemed disappointed with my unwillingness to get closer, but I couldn't bring myself to trust him that much yet. But I couldn't bring myself to trust him that much yet. Nonetheless, it was a momentous enough occasion that I felt justified in describing it as such. I'm sure I made him uncomfortable on numerous occasions during our walks. To say I acted disagreeably would be an understatement. Anytime he closed the gap between us, I stepped a little farther away. Every response I gave was curt, and I repeatedly shot him down whenever we started getting wistful or sentimental. The Morgana of 4 years prior might have been a little softer with him, a little more human. Maybe she would have given him a little smile or a pout instead. But that girl was long gone.
I despised the humanity that had once started taking root in me. And I endeavored to be something different again. In one instant, he heard a robin chirping and said, if I had wings like a bird, maybe I could be free too. To which I responded, there is not a single creature living in this world that is free.
Whoa! There he is.
Birds regularly get shot down by hunters, or preyed upon by larger birds. The idea that they are free is nothing more than man's short-sighted delusion.
Sorry, I guess.
No, I should be apologizing. I wasn't trying to attack you. I simply lack the ability to properly emphasize with others. I do not understand people.
So please, if I say anything that upsets you or make you uncomfortable, don't assume that was my intention.
Sure.
Maybe you're hiding it, or maybe you just don't know it yet. But I think you've got more empathy than you're letting on. Surely you can't say nothing affects you at all. You are human.
At one point that was true. That was perhaps somewhat difficult for others to see. I felt great beauty in the world when I knelt before the gravestones. But such sentiments have long since been lost to me.
So you don't have to be so closed off. I imagine not be able to do much I might be able to not to do much for you. But I do want to get to know you better. I want to understand you. So if you ever feel like talking about yourself, you know that you've got an eager pair of ears here. Okay?
If there was ever someone who could understand me, if there were ever someone who could understand what I am now, who could empathize with me, who has been through trials as great as mine, they would not be human.
Well, what do you mean?
That you would need to be far removed from any idea of humanity to have a chance at understanding me. Regardless, I do appreciate your kind words.
Sure. So, out of curiosity, do you have anyone really important to you in your life?
Not at the moment.
Does that mean you used to? I'd love to hear about them, if you don't mind.
They're all long dead. They're all long dead. 4 years ago, something unpleasant occurred, to say the least. And as a result of that, I was forced to part ways with the people who taught me that humans have the capability for kindness.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well then, if your sister's condition worsens again, come see me. Farewell.
Hey, maybe we could walk a little slower next time, so we have more time to talk. I want to get to know you better.
I'll consider it.
Slowly opening up. All right.
So long.
Bye. See you soon. Apparition, how much is left in this Mel section? Right here. I'm just curious. Ten minutes? Okay. That's fine then.
I was conscious of how cold and distant I was being toward him, but I had no interest in changing anything. Not that I even knew how to anymore. I had never known particularly well how to choose the right words, the proper way to act in various circumstances. But what little knowledge I had possessed, I'd long since lost. I assumed after the things I had said to him, Mel would never ask me on another walk again. But I was wrong. He did the very next time he came for medicine, and every time after that as well.
Hey, Sue, I was thinking. I bet you make a really good singer if you wanted.
A singer?
Yes, you've got this really pretty voice. I think it'd be nice if you tried to use it to sing. I'm sorry, it's not my place to tell you what to do. Oh bother. You hardly talk. Why would I think you'd want to sing?
I'm glad we're on the same page. Never again.
Sorry about that, really. Anyway, I wonder who first came up with the idea to sing. You can brighten someone's day or sour the mood with just the sound of your voice. Quite amazing, don't you think? It's almost like magic. Oh, and there are battle songs too, for getting soldiers fired up for combat.
Battle. Now there's a word I would never expect to hear from you.
I mean, I am a guy. I admire anyone who has the strength to go to battle. I could never ever do it myself, though.
The sight of blood makes me sick. I barely know which end of a sword is supposed to grab. It's not the blade. See? You're a noble, aren't you? What need do you have for knowing how to use a sword? That's what I used to think too. But now I think I should have gotten training. I may not have been a soldier, but I needed to be strong. I could have avoided so much if I was. And Nellie wouldn't have to live in a rundown shack in the middle of nowhere. As I recall, he once said he was forced from his house after a dispute over who the rightful heir was. High society sounds like endless fun. I'm sorry. I'm sure you don't care about any of this. No, you're fine. I'm the one who asked. Thanks. I want you to know. I really do appreciate it. It's nice to just be able to talk about this stuff to someone. You're naturally sociable. I'm sure you could find plenty of other people willing to listen. I don't go into town much, not even to run errands, so I'm still kind of an outsider. You're my only friend right now. I hope that wasn't too presumptuous of me. Call me whatever you like. Oh, thank goodness. We should do this more often, really. Talk more, get to know each other better, become better friends. To what end? No end, just, having friends is better than being alone. That's all. I see. I'll be heading back in now. See you again. Yes, see you soon, Morgana. Little by little, his words were getting closer to reaching the old me. Not enough to provoke an actual response, of course. But it wasn't his fault. I had locked myself up too deeply. I no longer knew how to express emotions, most especially at those that resulted from human warmth. However, I had regained enough of something to feel a sort of nostalgia in my interactions with Mel. Although I thought perhaps, with enough time, I could go back to being who I had been 4 years prior. But shortly thereafter, he threw all of that into the wind with a single utterance. Here we go. I'll take anything at this point to make her better. I'll even take a miracle if I can get one. Here we go. He appeared exhausted that day, much more than usual. His sister's condition had begun to worsen again. That That one muttered word set off a spark in my mind. It sent me back in time, well beyond when I was taught humanity 4 years ago, to my very origin. I was the daughter of God. My blood had healing properties. And the instant I remembered that, there was only one course of action I could take. Without a moment's hesitation, I informed him that miracles did exist. That I had been born a saint. And that my... God damn it. That my blood had miraculous powers. That after leaving the village of my birth, my power had only ever been misused. First by the Lord for his sick banquets, then by me for letting it lay idle so long. Now was the time for me to correct that. He was a kind-hearted young man who loved his sister, who deserved this blessing more than him. I told him everything. At first he was surprised, but never once did he accuse me of lying. He listened carefully and intently, taking in every word. And when I was finished, he said he believed me. And when I was finished, he said he'd believed me. He said he wouldn't trust his sister's care to me. Mel's sister slept upon a simple bed. She was a sweet little girl that looked like she would have been quite spirited if not for her ailment. Both she and her brother had beautiful flaxen hair. They looked as if they had been both yanked from a painting.
Wow. Jeez, that's ironic. Jeez. They totally did that on purpose.
Seeing them there, I wanted to do everything I could to help them. To ensure their happiness. And I knew I had the ability to do so. No longer would I be the one receiving others' charity. I could be the one giving it again. And as I made a new cut on my mostly healed arm, for the briefest of moments, a flash of him applying ointment appeared in my mind, but I quickly cast it off. The flaxen-haired girl showed signs of recovering as a result of my miracle. The boy came to my cottage overjoyed to thank me. I was extremely proud of myself. I felt like for once I had actually saved someone's life. I had finally been able to use my gift to help someone truly good. After the miracle, though, he stopped referring to me as his friend. Understandably so. No one could think of themselves as equals with someone who performed miracles. Awe, fear, reverence, they were all feelings that came from the same place. An inability to think of me as human, who experienced the world the same way he did. He saw me as an abnormal. I'd always been fine with that. It was how it was supposed to be. Being different was what I always wanted, and in some way it was what had kept me going. So seeing him put more and more distance between us shouldn't have bothered me in the slightest. But I continued to offer his sister my blood, no matter how distant he grew. Eventually, he stopped inviting me on walks. Oh, God. But that didn't matter. I would serve my duty and perform miracles regardless. He would simply knock back on my cottage door and say, my sister's fallen ill again. Would you perform another miracle? No longer did he show me his gentle smile. I could feel the apprehension in his voice. No longer did we listen to the birds singing together. No longer did we listen to the birds singing together. No longer was I the one being cold and distant. Here's the stopping point. And no longer did he say, "See you again," when we parted ways. Back in my village, when everyone feared and revered me as a saint, it filled me with a childish sense of superiority. But there was no superiority now. Oddly, only a prickling in the softened shell of my heart. I was no longer the child I had once been. I had changed. I had learned what warmth felt like. My memories of that time were vague and ethereal. But the feelings they had created lived on deep within me. For the first time, I had felt a warm familiarity around Mel, which only made me yearn for him to treat me that way again. I wanted to be able to open up to someone once more, though I never said as much out loud. Oh, God. Okay. Do you know how long until this, next flashback section is over? Like this Morgana, the Mel flashback here. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break because if it's not too long, I do want to finish it tonight. I'll just take a quick bathroom break right now.
Okay, Ji-chan, I see. Alright, this part is gonna last a half-hour stream time. Okay, thanks, Apparition. Let's see, just let me think about that. You know what? Let's start off just like we started this time. Let's start next time off with a bang, okay? Yeah. Alright, you guys, because, yeah, I don't know what is it with it on Fata Morgana days. I get tired earlier, probably because Fata Morgana gets so intense, and, like, I spend a lot of energy, like, on the really dramatic parts. I'm sorry, you guys, that the Fata Morgana streams are shorter. Okay, so on Sunday is more Archinelico. I don't think that's an actual thing, Void Dweller. And we will continue this on Tuesday. So until then, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You are all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.